senses when they're shut off, then your extrasensory person get active, and there you are open to infinite experience. And willpower is greatly developed when you're reading and in getting inspired through people how they've done it. You need to energize yourself fully. You can't not have emotional control, without having that mind to learn, without having physical energy and body. You can't really do things anyway. These are essential.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to Wow Words of Wisdom session. I am Prithvi joining from Bangalore. So today we have Chandra Pulamarasetti sir with us. So I don't have to give an introduction about him, but to talk a little about his journey. If you ask who's a man put together like an entrepreneur, meditation master, and a quantum energy geek, that would be Chandra Pulamarasetti, sir. So his journey started like, he was at the peak of everything, like corporate job, everything was going well. And at that time, when Patriji said that you're not living, you don't know how to live your life, he was stuck by that statement and he took up that as a challenge to get into questioning and see what really life is about. And from then on, he's from a dhyana kutumbam, and then he started meditation and started to spread meditation. He became a dhyan pracharak, and then with his corporate skills, he became a very crucial part of Pyramid Valley Internationals, building that project and making it manifest as an international meditation center. And today he is a driving force of Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation, where he is out there to empower the leaders to meditate, manifest, and rise beyond limits. So he's teaching CEOs, the students, and the seekers to harness the power of breath and the power of intention to manifest. And today, I'm really very, honored to welcome him. So if you're all ready to shift your gears from hustle to high frequency, join me in welcoming Pulamarasetti Sir, Chandra Sir. Sir, welcome to this session.
Yes. Hi, Prithvi madam.
Hello, sir.
Wonderful to have you. And yes, Shambhala Seva. So I saw you. Where are you? From Pyramid Valley.
Jenny.
Jenny, right. I got not getting the name. Okay, Jenny. Wonderful. Hi, Srihari Garu, Vikal Garu, and everyone. Madam, I'm sharing what I know. I'm not teaching. Okay, please remember this. Definitely, I'm sharing with everyone who is coming across. Yes, thank you, Srihari Garu, for inviting us. I'm here with all of our masters in Albany right now.
Namaste.
They're all there in Lata Madam's home. So we're in that outdoor. But yes, since we are committed to you, we had a plan to go out. When I committed that time, nothing was there. Calendar is empty. But they're all there. So we're going to Seth's home, the manifestation master, Jane Roberts, where she lived. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours from here. So that's where we're going today to go and do some meditation. Okay, first time going there, so quite excited about seeing because Seth's books have tremendous impact on my perspective. Of course, Patrice had always recommended Seth's books like no one. And one must read those books. They're a little dense, but then amazingly put together the concepts of power of thought, power of mind, power of what an individual like we have, so much power. So that's where we are. Yes.
Beautiful, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time and making your schedule adjustable to this program. I really appreciate that, sir. So, sir, though the topic of the day is science of meditation, we would actually like to talk about mastery because you have been into this path almost for 2 decades, and you're the right person to talk about the mastery of the practice and also about the true leadership. So, to start off with, sir, like on the path of Buddha, the practice that we are doing, Anapanasati meditation, on the path of Buddha, like he talks about Anapanasati meditation, Vipassana. but he never gives any importance to energy anywhere. Whereas in PSSM, we say that when the mind becomes empty, we receive energy. And when you talk about quantum physics, also, there's a lot of importance given to energy. So why I'm talking about this is when we cannot see energy, we have to visualize. But PSSM says there is no visualization. So, what is the importance that we need to give to energy and visualization while practicing Anapanasati, sir?
Okay, so the spirituality is same. The science of spirit. What is spirit? Right? There is soul, there is spirit. Two words are there. Then the body. Body, mind, soul, spirit. Four. The spirit is everything that exists. Soul is a small aspect of spirit, but it is still the whole. Like a body, liver has a whole bunch of cells. Every cell is the identical replica of the other cell. So if you know one cell, then you know about liver. It's called microcosm and macrocosm. If you know one thing, then you know the whole thing. Like in a building material, you study one part of it, brick, then you'll say, okay, all bricks are similar because it's all the same replica, right? So soul is simply a replica of the spirit in its miniature version. Okay, but otherwise it's as good as the soul, I mean spirit, the existence. So spirituality is the science of spirit. Anyways, to begin with, is invisible, science of invisible. Okay. Now, the New Age spirituality. So then, when Gautam Buddha times, is philosophical. The logic was not there. There is no science by itself. There is no concept of science by itself. Everything that is there is woven as life concept. That's all. But now, as we are so conditioned, we have a concept of science separately, and everybody looks for a scientific, logical, analytical explanation. Then we brought in the concept. So Gautam Buddha did not talk about energy, not that he did not know, but then it is not required because people do not question things. But now people want to know a little more because they're already conditioned for something. So we're bringing a concept of energy to explain little more, right? It's not physical, don't see, but there is something called energy. Now it can be explained through quantum physics beautifully that what you are left, what you are is energy, not matter. That's quantum physics view. As scientific terms, then we know this. Anything that's given extra, when you give energy, meaning a heat to water, you give heat, then it becomes vapor. So it suddenly disappears. Okay, then increase the frequency of anything. You take iron and then give some extra energy to it, so it increases frequency, it disappears. A fan which is there, increased frequency, the wings are not seen, it disappears. It becomes suddenly not there. The wings are not there. But in a stable, normal condition, it is there. When you start rotating, when you're giving some energy, electric current to it, then it disappears. So we can say that at high vibration, things don't show up because we can't see. A low vibration they show, which is the concept of matter becoming energy and energy becoming matter, which is what the quantum physics is saying now. So when we talk about energy, Patriji talked about when you meditate, you receive a lot of cosmic energy. He said that. Now, if you go, which is true, because basically you are experiencing the energy bodies when you are meditating, where you are forgetting a physical body, and so then the concept of energy body comes in, and you are at that point you are like in deep sleep, connected to the existence as your physical body, which is separating you, the mind which is separating you from the existence, is shut off for some time, and so then you are then ready to be connected to that thing. When you're connected, what happens? The default is that our pranamaya kosha is receiving energy as it's connected to the whole field. And so they said you'll receive a lot of cosmic energy. Then we can further explain it as now, in using quantum physics understanding, that we are energy and matter. We are energy, all energy. That's quantum physics view now. Everything that exists is purely energy. But matter shows up because somebody observed. We have an experience in our life because we observe, put our attention on it. And so every experience is there only when you put your attention, otherwise it's not there. either now or in the past. Conscious intention, unconscious intentions. They're all that we would have made. So the point here is that according to quantum physics, it's all energy, and then matter is coming only when somebody is observing. And so in meditation, you are forgetting the matter. In the meditation, especially anapanasati, you forget the matter. What does it mean? You forget your body, you forget your environment, you forget everything. You withdraw your attention off the matter. By withdrawing senses, that's why very important to pratyahara, to remove the senses for meditation. And then second, remove the thought. Because thought is formed in time, and so that is removed. So time is forgotten when thought is not there. When thought is not there, time is forgotten. Senses are withdrawn, the space around us is forgotten. And so that means we forget the entire matter. So then what are you left with? Your by default energy, and matter is completely withdrawn or forgotten. Your attention of the matter is removed completely. Then you are there fundamentally as energy. And so there is that notion. People suddenly feel they don't find themselves, their own body. You can't find your fingers, your body becomes lighter. All the properties of energy start showing up. You don't find boundaries. Suddenly you don't know where you are. It all seems to be extending because that's what energy is by default, right? So you experience something beyond the body. And so all that we are calling it energy experience because something experienced beyond the body, that means beyond the form and beyond the form practically. And so that's why the concept of energy is there scientifically because we're all conditioned into wanting to know more about what happens beyond physical. So we're utilizing these words, energies, and then we are putting little more science around it for the beginners to understand a little bit so that they can get into the practice. I'll stop there.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. So, like as you said, during Buddha's time, he didn't wanted anybody to go with just a belief of energy concept. But right now, it is a proven fact that we all are energy beings. And as we start off with the practice, we should.
Last time, there's no necessity.
Okay,
There's no necessity to talk about the concept of energy.
right.
Buddha's time, it is a system time where the modern science perspective is not there at all. The whole development happened only about 200 years ago. Okay. The Celestian prophecy will give you a good perspective of how the whole earth in the last 2,500 years evolved. Right. And so there's no necessity to talk about, a touch and feel concept. Everybody accepted a subjective conscious and experience or a God's experience before. Nobody disproved it, nobody contended for it. Okay. And so when someone would say that, yes, you sit down for dhyana or meditation or any practice and you're going to have some experience, nobody questioned it because it is natural for them to believe and understand. Like now, many pyramid masters, you say, I sit down and I'm seeing Swami Balaji or Lord Balaji, nobody questions it. It's not a surprise thing anymore. All right, when especially was studied spiritual science, it's not a questioning. So in those days, the default evolution of the conscious, default state of consciousness is there's no disbelief in any of these concepts, but all the disbelief happened when modern science is introduced in the industrial revolution time, which is around 1750s onwards. And so that time, then they separated it. Slowly in the textbooks, they removed the concept of God and consciousness. They all have been removed. So what is left was, if you have scientific evidence, you can touch and feel, then this is real, everything else is unreal. This is a set of conditioning. We came into education. So now we have to, we are looking at, of course, undoing a lot of it, where everything happens for greatness. So all this technology evolution happened, so they have so much convenience and comfort is there. It's a different experience the consciousness is going through. It was required then, but then meditation, and so the concept of energy and then God stuff and all of this coming back again differently. That's solitude.
Right.
Okay.
So when it comes to practice, we should stick on to observation of breath itself and not get into visualization, right? So,
Visualization, no. Now, visualization is a complementary process to meditation. Meditation, in the we use the word, we use exactly what Patriji Sir always talked about. It is about emptying the mind. That means mind absence. And so in mind absence, there cannot be visualization. Visualization is full mind, using entire power of your conscious mind, which is most part of our mind anyway. 90% is the conscious mind, the bigger part of our brain. And so visualization is a complementary process, but not and it's not meditation. In meditation, you got to empty and empty and empty. So when we say experience energy, we're not visualizing energy. do you, there is a concept of awareness. Senses, with senses, you feel something here. Awareness is your physical senses are not working, but there is something is telling you that, okay, there is this experience of, you being in light, are you meeting and then talking to somebody, are you being traveling somewhere, which is all happening to you. There is something is telling, it's called awareness. Awareness is beyond the body. Okay. So feeling, sensing, okay, my body is becoming cold and hot and all that. Those are sensory experiences that come, but many awareness experience which are beyond the senses that you are seeing it. It's called seeing. Okay, it's called vipassana, means true seeing. That happens in meditation for many. You know that you are not thinking, you know that you are away from it, but something is happening to you. And that state where you are you are in an empty state, but you are experiencing, life the way it is through a vision, right? Or you're hearing some sound, you're hearing, doing some smells, and all of that are happening through this extrasensory perception. Let me use the word. Physical senses, when they're shut off, then your extrasensory perception get active, and there you are open to infinite experience. In extrasensory perception, where you're in the quantum field or the energy field, you have everything. And so you're open to every experience, including the physical body experience or including the earth dimension experience. When you are there in that field, where you're tuned into all frequencies as beyond the body, not tuning in through physical senses, but you're tuning in through extra senses, which are there in us encapsulated. And that happens when we shut off your body. And so to answer your question back, we're not visualizing energy, you're observing a breath. And so when you observe the breath, as thoughts go away, because, the quantum principle, where you place your attention, their energy flows. Your attention is away from the thought. Thoughts come down, right? And then breath is automatically is anyway diminishing as you're observing the breath. Body requires so less energy, less energy to function as default state. When you're not doing anything, and every organ, every part of the body is shutting down, including all parts of the mind, everything. And so it requires very tiny amount of energy to survive. And so breath also becomes very small, tiny, to the point where it may not exist. And that's the time we lose track of the breath, and suddenly we're in a state where we don't know, and that's called the empty state, right? We are in there. And that time, you're open to infinite dimensional experiences. So many things can show up again there. Because you're not seeing, it's like you go into a dark room in a movie theater. First you enter in, you can't see anything. You hold on to a seat, a chair, and then stand there to get your eyes used to it. Now slowly get your eyes used to it. Okay, you see a little bit of chairs are there. You see slowly, further now to the point where you can spot where your people are. Then you go there and then find them in the theater. So that means the more you familiarize yourself in this darkness, emptiness, the more you start seeing more and more clearly, to the point where your eyes get used to so much that you freely can move in a dark space too. You know this. Same thing here, right? You're going into this empty space, I don't know, where nothing exists. Then as you start familiarizing, then you start exploring to the infinite dimensions. And so again, you have similar experience as earth plane, but things that you cannot imagine, because that's infinite dimension. Earth plane, a limited notion of what your eyes can see, ears can hear, but there it's unlimited. And so then you explore to all of that. Don't visualize in meditation where you're emptying the mind, but then visualization where you're putting your power of mind. Patriji beautifully talks about power of mind, power of soul. Both combined together, you create beautifully. So visualization is utilizing the power of mind fully, where your mind is active. Gratitude is an active mind process, right? Anything else is active mind process. They're not meditation process where things are happening to you automatically.
Beautiful, sir. Very, very clear explanation, sir. That really helps. So, sir, next is like Patriji said, be a master. So, what does that mean? What exactly does that being a master to you mean? And then you are wanting to train leadership, meditation leaders. So, what does that mean to be a meditation leader?
Okay, so there is a concept of mind to matter. As your mind is your matter means experience of life. Okay. So to me, being a master means having that super clarity of it from moment to moment, time to time, right? Having the clarity to take the right action The clarity is required. To do anything, you need three things. You need clarity, you need some will, drive to do things, and you need energy to do, right? Power of, they're called power of energy, I mean, power of wisdom, power of consciousness or power of will, and then power of energy, energy by itself, three things. Mastery means having these three sufficiently developed. When you have these three, first of all, you got to have clarity. So that's what Patriji have said. Master your life. Your mind is mastering you, but you know, master the mind, and so then life is mastered. So which means have super clarity. How do you get clarity? The answer is always these two: knowledge and then meditation. Okay. These two are essential. When you have, that's why he, throughout his entire journey, without necessarily discriminating, he said, keep reading, 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 gain as much knowledge as you can. He never said only this or only that. He never isolated, said, okay, if you have this problem, do that. If that problem, do that. He didn't say that. Keep reading, all kinds. And then because everybody talks about everything, all masters. So, so to me, mastery means having that discrimination, having ability to discern at any given time, what should I do? We're always in a wise action, at any given time. Today, we're going to the SAFE program. Of course, another thing I wanted was really rest and relax because for 35 days, I've been just traveling non-stop. I wanted to do the rest and relax. But then I saw, where many of these group masters have come. I said, fine, let's go. Talk about SAFE and go there. So we took a decision. There's no doubt here. Should I do this or should I do that? The clarity is there. So we took that decision. So I have the clarity, okay, of where what you're doing, and then develop enough willpower to do it. The willpower is essential. Otherwise, a lot of times we make intention, we're not able to follow through. Okay. That willpower again is greatly developed when you're meditating. And willpower is greatly developed when you're reading and in getting inspired through people how they've done it. It need not be a spiritual book. When I read Facebook, how Mark Zuckerberg did his stuff. Now he locked himself up for 50 days plus or so and wrote the first Facebook code by himself completely. And Harvard, I think, is a dorm somewhere. He went off 50 days. He didn't even show up to anybody. That's how the story goes. And then wrote up the initial code. Now, if you think and say, no, I don't know, I don't have people here. How can I do all this stuff? Then you're just there. We empower ourselves. That's what Srihari Sharma Garu is then, empowering ourselves and said, "Yes, I'm going to build the pyramid. I want to come and then put my stake in the ground and say, yes, guys, we are building it. Now somebody will come." Okay. And I've seen that in Venu. Venu is not, thinking, I said, how much I know, not know. He said, okay, I'm going to call everybody and keep telling them, telling them, telling them, telling them. Now he created such a massive group in Sacramento and India and every place. He keep calling. He never bothers about what I know, don't know, how well I speak or not speak. So that power of will has to be there, where that drive to do has to come. Very, very important. It's not good enough you have good vision. You got to have a lot of willpower. Willpower comes with a lot of meditation, a lot of reading inspirational books, right? And so then willpower develops. Inspirational books means biographies, autobiographies, biographies. Both you read as much as possible. Everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's God. It doesn't have to be spiritual only. You read about Warren Buffett, read about Bill Gates, read about an Abdul Kalam, read about Mahatma Gandhi, or any of these figures who done tremendous work. Something drove them. You get inspired and say, okay, there is so much power in each of us to do. Why am I thinking that way? Because the story will tell you that initially I started off, nobody is there. Everybody discouraged me, but I was able to go forward. That story is the same for everyone, isn't it? And so then they'll also tell you some help came to me, unexpected this came to me. All of that now you can put together. Meditation, of course, help gives you that unexpected help, right? That's what meditation is doing. So that unexpected help will push you forward. Okay. And so the third thing, of course, is you need to energize yourself fully. You can't not have emotional control, without having that mind to learn, without having physical energy and body. You can't really do things anyway. These are essential. Okay. And so that's what meditation is beautifully giving. So to me, clarity and then being able to develop that will constantly and then do things, right? That's all mastery of life. Do according to your intuition or feeling.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. Sir, now that you are associated with PSSM from 2 decades and now you have started an organization called Buddha CEO. So, what is the difference between a movement and an organization? Because, and we all see you being associated with both PSSM and Buddha CEO. And how do you see it, sir?
Okay, so Buddha CEO is still at a movement at large. The principles are taken, number one, and it is larger part of the PSS movement, okay, which works with the same principles of the movement. Movement means what? They're inspired by certain values, and then individuals go about creating things and then take it according to their own level, their own capacities, and all of that, right? Independent movement, freedom movement, where everybody went about, arose to the inspired by the values, they did it in their own way, okay? And so PSS movement, Patriji created so that, it can really spread. A central organization sort of keeps on trying to restrict. And I love the concept. That's why many central organizations today, when the master leaves, they may not necessarily stay for too long. Okay. Where there is a structure is standardly created, then they tend to be slowly, as the power games come in, they dismantle themselves over a period of time. It's usually they say it is 2 to 3 generations, they slowly disappear. Okay, 2 to 3 generations, they stay on slowly but gradually go down. But in my view, Patri's PSS movement is just growing now because it just lit the fire. And so everybody, in their own beautiful way, keep taking it in many ways. That means what? There is PSM Iowa. Those guys are making their own decision, their own way of going and spreading meditation. Common thread is meditation. Common thread is spiritual science. Those three things, right? But you are going and then giving it in your own way with your own decisions, your own way of fundraising, your own way of organizing events and all that. Okay. And so is the case with Buddhasi. So is the Pyramid Academy is doing its own way, but the common thread is there, right? So Buddhasava is one such entity which is focused towards leadership, which is about organizational growth, and it primarily emphasizes on growth and purpose elements. Okay, the well-being element comes, and I am a firm believer that we are generally aligned to a purpose, and many individuals on the mind stage growth is their purpose. That means they want to create, they want to grow, they want to do this, they want to do that in the work area, because that's all how you create things. That's your general purpose. And so we believe in growth and purpose, and then well-being will automatically come. Okay, that means your body health and these things will come naturally. And so we focus on that. But then our larger purpose, as the way I saw, is the leadership and the transform, and they have much bigger reach to influence the community. And so then it'll assist in spreading meditation faster and deeper. And so we're working more and more towards governmental agencies, senior leadership. That's how we are slowly moving. We wanted to get our messaging right. We got our messaging right, we think, in terms of the this right balance of science and philosophy, things mixed into it. Now that we are taking into the more and more governmental senior leadership through conferences. So I see Budasi was a very integral part within the PSS movement's purview of how you take things forward. And everyone having their identity. For example, when you're doing this mega summit, it is done with, we say, okay, PSM USA, PSM Global is doing it, right? And so that group identify itself and then does a lot more work, because you feel like, okay, so the group is, oh, this is our event, guys. We got to do it. It's not somebody in India, Pyramid Valley is coming and doing like a summit. And so you have an identification within the group so that you go forward and then take up ownership and then do it. That's his philosophy. That's why he created independent groups everywhere and then ask people to take the core message, but then create your own group and then drive. And we're doing it. Okay.
Beautiful, sir. Just that you mentioned about, having individual organizations and having their own identity. Sometimes, even though we are working for a higher purpose, having common goals, uh, sometimes, having our own identities, we get stuck with it. Like we somewhere that spiritual ego comes up. So, how do we actually go beyond this spiritual ego and act with oneness? And build a cooperative spirit where we help each other grow together and inspire others also to work with a cooperative spirit, sir?
So what is the value? What is the solution for it? It is there everywhere. You are in the body, so you got to have you have a name, you have something around you through which you do a few things, right? You through which you do a few things. If I want to create a Facebook kind of product, then I need to have a whole set of engineers together. I got to rally their group together. right? I can't say we are the world, guys. We got to say, guys, we are Facebook. We are creating this specific purpose. For this purpose, we're all together. So that needs to have that the group consciousness will come with the consciousness is there at different levels. So we got to give that something to it, and so that you rally that group with that specific objective, right? We got to do that. But the whole idea of spirituality is to go beyond that identity, meaning I am using it for this purpose. The next moment I don't have it that. I am the same. I'm doing a Buddhasiya work, I'm that. I'm doing Omega work, I'm that. In doing Omega work, and so then I put all my attention towards Omega cause. I do that. But the next moment when I'm there mixing with people, I'm not that. And so then you say, okay, I'm like anybody else. That's the identity barrier that we're going to cross in spirituality. So then you say, then that is creating more identity. It's a problem. That means you've forgotten the basic spiritual practice, right? Irrespective of what we are. Now, tomorrow I may become a chief meditation officer for an organized country. This is how we dream, by the way. All pyramid masters must become chief mindfulness officer of the countries and organizations. Just because with that now you can develop a big identity and ego self there and say I'm bigger than anybody, then your spiritual value itself is not there. You're not worth to be in that space. So every group that is created, the organizational heads have to take care of it, and then individuals in their practice must recognize and remember that is there for us to experience and express what we have innately as a talent. And then we express our talent with this cause, group cause. And then we decided to do this group cause further, we express our talent. As long as the talent, that expression is there, we got within that group. The moment I'm done with it, I'm resolved myself into the whole. This is the development needs to happen for everyone. Okay. Now, with their identity, you become fanatic and say, I am this, I am greater, I am better, then everything is lost, right? Nobody is greater than another person. Everybody is doing their job beautifully, differently. Pyramid Valley's cause is to give that space for many, many national and international visitors come there and then experience it. So it's got some finer facilities and all of that is there. So that anyone who comes there will experience, know more about breath meditation and go. That's its purpose. It is there. So it does it. Doesn't mean that you can say, oh, I'm like the most special place and then special thing because I got all these things. International masters come to me. We're any superior? Big deal. It's not. Karnool pyramid is as good. And then to me, Jethavanam pyramid is really touching thousands of people. There is just amazingly beautiful work it's doing, even though it may not have anywhere near to any kind of class facility that you think, right? It has nothing to do with the facility. So it's like that we have to see, Prithvi madam. We have to go beyond our own things that we create. But that's the whole spiritual sadhana and practice we are doing. We cannot forget that basic aspect of it. Okay.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. You hit it right. Like we have to be rooted in the basics of spirituality, even though we are growing with different organizations. Beautifully explained, sir.
Otherwise, how will you have an AOL, how will you have an Isha, how will you have an heartfulness? Under those movement names, there is so much great work is happening. We're not greater than them. We know that we're never greater than them. We're all the same. You guys can bring food. We're all the same. Everyone is doing work to move a group of people from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness. PSM is also doing the same. It's touching a set of people from one level to another level. Okay. And we don't say I'm the solution. I don't think we can say that I'm the solution. Okay.
Amazing, sir. Sir, you've been talking about Patriji so much. What is that one key learning that you have got from this Grand Master, and how did he help you to connect to your life purpose?
I think it happened by taking up spiritual service. This is what we advise people, meditation service to be precise. As we come in, because the practice consists of meditation, reading, and satsang. And these three are given beautifully when you take up meditation service. All these three come as a package to you. You get to access to many masters, and everything happens when you do meditation service. So I took meditation service, and then that meditation service slowly led me towards my purpose. I did not even realize I was living my purpose as the work is done at Pyramid Valley. And then that further led to Patriji Sir talking about while somewhere you have deep interest and is slowly growing, that in corporates we got to give meditation into leadership. And it comes natural to based on what is a unique talent you have. Everybody gets that natural calling inside. Because my experience was throughout globally traveling and then meeting many senior people in the organization. By default, it became natural to me that every time I met somebody senior, I would want to talk about meditation, something that, say, my mom was not able to talk. And so it became clear that I should be able to utilize that thing that is given to me there. And so that calling was there, but then of course the master recognized it. And then so he said, let's do Buddha CEOs. And then that slowly brew in. And then 2019, when I asked that and I would like to do this full time, I've asked at least quite several times before it. Several times he said, no, wait. You have time, Swamiji, you have time. He used to say that. By the right time, he said, okay, now fine, go ahead and then resign and then join. And then started it. Okay. So to answer the question, if you take up meditation, that's what I did. In my case, I took meditation service as we really, without any, without truly surrendered to Patri Sahib and truly recognized his consciousness. He knew a lot of things. He had the answers and he was doing in the most unconditional way. Once we made the decision to be he as a great master, then we surrendered to him without questioning what he said and not said. Several times I did not potentially in my mind did not have an agreement because but I didn't I just took it as, oh, I don't know how to even read this. And so simply go and then do what he asked for and I did it. And so I feel that's what led towards the right purpose that I'm aligned to. If I put my own mind here, there, I would have gone off and doing many other things. And so that's what I did. It helped us to go into the current purpose. So many Buddha Sevas today were nothing but those who have this experience of working in corporates, working with leadership, working in motivated by, inspired by creating leaders. Like so all have to be turned into this. Those are the people. That's the group energy of Buddha Seva signature. They are the people who come and get attracted.
That's
He-
amazing. And we have seen that how massively you're doing the GCML and the RCML and all, bringing the vice president, connecting with so many spiritual leaders, and bringing amazing people like Karthikeyan sir and spreading the awareness of meditation. So, if you want to tell us about how these conferences are seeping into the government, can you just give us an idea, like how is it working, sir?
we have to. This is a long-term work, meaning we are touching a large system, right? And so everything has its own time and space. So um, what we are doing through this vehicle of conferences and vehicle of magazines like Buddhasiya magazine, some of this knowledge that imbibe some scientific, as well as some senior leaders who come and speak about the same thing. And so the analytical mind or a leadership mind is there currently. It wants to believe before it can take an action. So for that, they're looking for validation from is there evidence, is there scientific research, is there one side. They're also looking for who around me. It's called pragmatistic view. Who around me is actually saying about meditation, and so they're looking for that comfort. And so, for example, in the recent magazine, now we have Dr. Vinod Paul, who is the Planning Commission member of India, talking about meditation. We have Vice President of India talking about meditation. So these two articles are there, which are very much into the government system. Now, when somebody reads that and say, "Oh, so Dr. Vinod Paul is a medical doctor, AIMS doctor, and then he is a Planning Commission member. He's talking about meditation as a very important practice. He's saying, I do it and they're required. So now these things will help. But it's the work that we do. So we are bringing such people to say and then share, and then we document them, we disseminate the information. So you call it spiritual lobbying or whatever, but we start doing it. Meditation lobbying, we got the steps, but then we want to bring this into the mainstream education, but again, it requires at a governmental level some understanding and agreement. We believe that many researchers or academicians have a lot of stake in setting policies, and so as we are working with some of these governmental things, we're getting to know people, and so we're going and then presenting to them, like Vyasa University. We identified AIMS Delhi has a lot of stake. Vyasa University has a lot of influence in these policies. Okay, enhance mind health. They have some influence in the policies. We are touched all of them, and then we are bringing them to a conference, inviting a speaker, talk to them, and some way or the other interact with them. That's what we are doing today. Is how to spread some awareness, and then also support some research activity. PSM directly original research around anapanasati meditation, the way we speak, we are yet to identify, and in the absence of it, then we are trying to do some base research so that that will also act a little bit of research, not a lot, a little bit of research that also can help and act in policymakers make better decisions. Okay.
Wonderful, so really amazing work because I attended the RCML last year in Delhi. That happened in Delhi. It was really amazing where I saw Karthikeyan sir and Kiran Bedi ma'am and all. And it's really just taking the meditation to the government sector and all these people is really amazing. So now
Yes. So 9:15. Yeah, I would like to. How much time? Another 5-10 minutes. I would like to
last
leave
last
Sharma Garu.
5 minutes. That's all, sir. We are done.
Yeah.
So lastly, just wanted to talk about the Omega Pyramid, the project that is coming up, sir. So now that Omega trustees are walking the path that you have walked when you were doing the Pyramid Valley thing, so what are the suggestions that you would like to give them? Like you want them to go through their challenges and evolve, or you want to help them in any way, sir?
The group projects are, first of all, every project there for our own evolution. This has to be really understood. If we come in and say, I'm changing the world, we have a big challenge there itself. Okay. Everything is for our own emotional payoff. If I'm happy with my own meditation, it's not good enough for me. I'm not able to be just we contain that thing here. And then I feel like by helping and seeing others grow, I'm more happy. So I'm doing it for them. That's fundamental point. You know it. That's where you go to this nishkama karma or unconditional service in step one. And I'm step two, you are removing you element from it. I'm not doing it, somebody else is doing it through me, right? These two changes easily achievable when you have meditation, right? And so first is that we are doing it for our own emotional payoff, where it has to be our own evolution, our own growth. Okay, I used to have this big myth. Oh, Pyramid Valley, I'm doing very, very great cause. So why meditation is there? Automatically consciousness, everything will take care, a lot of funds will come, everything will happen immediately. Not at all. It is a collective group's consciousness. If they evolve spiritually, things will happen a lot more easy. If they together they don't evolve, and then if people come with the attitude, I mean, it doesn't matter for any group, it is the same, right? If that is not there and say, okay, no, I'm making a decision, I'm doing it, I've decided, I got this, I got that, then that means that no, you are trying to say that I'm special. So this thing to me is a group projects are where we chose to be there to evolve. First element, okay, to become that great master of equanimity. Here, let's say project of Omega. Everybody is very successful in their own way, right? Praveen ji and then Hari ji, Ram Garu I met recently. They all are successful in their way. Companies recognize them greatly for what they have done. All right. So when they come with the diverse viewpoints, they have to come to the understanding. They have to respect somewhere, agree to each other. Don't cut off and say most of the time if you keep cutting off others, it's a problem. And so so the right understanding will come among themselves as you grow, and then use it as an opportunity to grow there. But then if together, like Patriji told right in the beginning when it comes to Pyramid Valley, all of you come together and then dream and then talk about the same vision over and over and over. And so then people will rally with you. Okay. So I think all right things are being taken by Sharma Garu and the team, as I see. And time is no bar at all. So if we keep ourselves with too much pressure and time, then we will get pressurized. Times goals are required with a time frame in mind so that energy is channelized towards that. But when they don't happen, comments may come, don't bother about them. Always question ourselves and say, did I do my best? Am I able to do my best in raising money or in talking to people and putting people together? If I'm doing that much, that is great. Be right to your conscience about what your efforts you're putting. If you're not able to put efforts, please step aside, let somebody else come in and then drive. These things that have to be taken care from management perspective. But beyond that, we of course must constantly keep having goals. Something I really learned from Sir. Keep yourself occupied by putting goals, and so then you keep driving your energy and group's energy towards it. All right. So project after project after project, something or other keep happening. And so people come to the energy is appropriately distributed towards it. And it's simple. Where you place your energy, there where you place your attention, their energy flows, and so manifestation must happen. If people come to Omega, talk about Omega, think about Omega, then guaranteedly the manifestation will come. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. So that much we have to do together. Okay. So Omega centric programs, and I'm sure the many things that Sir is doing. And I'm very happy, Sharma Garu, that Karthikeyan sir took this very, very beautifully. And once it records into subconscious, now it goes. And he's already talked several times wherever people tried to talk about other pyramids, he said, focus on one thing from his own way. Okay. While his own way, so which is good. That means he's continues to give that message of Omega among anything else from his influence. While from our perspective, of course, everything has to spring. Like many many children, different siblings of different age, they'll keep coming up and growing parallelly. So which is still fine too. And Atlanta can come and the sun can come parallelly. They'll everyone person has to dream their project. But Omega has sufficient amount of interest through Padma Shri D.R. Kesa, and then many masters. As he goes around, he's increasing the value of it among many things. He's even saying that it can become the greatest project for PSS movement because they're in America. And use the message, I really liked it. It is what you can give back to this American soil if you're living there. Give back something to the soil, what you've taken, and so then contribute into the Omega because it can sort of, set a great example for many living Indians here and say, okay, what did I contribute to the soil? And so then this is what I can do spiritually for evolution. Okay. So many messages are there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.